Well, these reviews are late, but that cannot be helped. This is the angry anime fan, the Despair Reviewer. Still, nothing really grand is happening, but we have been some foreshadowing for something grand that may be happening sooner or later. In this episode of Fire Force, episode 10, we're introduced to the other captains of the brigades, and we all can see that they have different personalities, although we cannot clearly see who is who. But the one we mostly see is actually someone I think we saw last week, but I'm not really sure how we said it. Still a bit pissed off that they decided to pick that voice actor to voice him. It's just, however, a little bit of a comedy. It's Benimaru Shimon, a mysterious, well, no, not mysterious guy, but let's just say a guy who clearly doesn't work for the government. Yet he is still a fire brigade officer. He calls his own place a former neighborhood watch, and apparently his place of Akasawa or Akusawa, something like that, is a place where they actually hang on to old traditions that is long since forgotten or at least ignored in New Tokyo, such as he introduced himself as Shimon Benimaru, while everyone else call him Benimaru Shimon. The reason for that is that I think it's typical in Japanese to say your last name first and your first name after. And since no one does that in this manga, well, you know, it's a thing that way. Oh, and what do I mean by voice actor? Well, I said this in a previous video, but he is actually voiced by the same voice actor who voiced Death the Kitto in Soul Eater. Once again, another Soul Eater in the manga. In the manga, anime. I have a feeling I have missed someone, but that is not important. We also see Dr. Giovanni, a mysterious, if not sinister looking guy dressed a lot like those previous, well, not witch doctors, medicine doctors from the 16th century. Kyoka Hyodo, a woman with a very snake-like face, as well as Gustav Honda, a bald-faced military-looking man, and many more. Regardless, they are all called to the meeting of the Pope of the Amaterasu, where they are to tell about the evangelist and the problem that person can do. And when I mean Amaterasu, it's revealed that the reason why New Tokyo actually can live is because of a giant fire generator called Amaterasu. It is not exactly known what it is, but the Pope mentions to Shinra after Benimaru leaves together with, I guess, his assistant, that is a sacred flame that is very important, saying something like it's part of Amaterasu as well. Later on, when the brigade gets home, Shinra wants to see Amaterasu himself. He actually runs into Joker, who leaves him again with some sinister yet intriguing clues. Again, we don't really know how we would classify Joker as. He clearly is not a hero, but he's also not a villain either. Would we classify him as an anti-hero then, or an anti-villain? He reveals to Shinra that Sho is a lot closer to him than he wants to admit, because Sho is actually part of the White Hoods. He leaves it at that, leaving behind a sinister clue of it all. This causes Shinra a lot of heroic BSOD, especially since he promised his mom that he would protect them and become a hero. And during dinner, as they all cook, the fire force of the 8th Brigade actually notices that Shinra is holding some things in. After listening to a source of material, Shinra decides to hire his heart and say to everybody else that what Joker told him, as he had gotten some encouragement from them. And they don't blame him for that, and they say that they will just have to focus on saving Sho as well, proving that the 8th Brigade can really be there for each other and work together as a family. But they also have to find some clue on the combustion secret. When they're gonna do that, I don't know. More than that, it's not exactly known on how they can start. But something it tells me they will soon find out. Benimaru Shimon, huh? Well, he looks like a dangerous guy. I wonder if they're gonna head out to them. So give me your thoughts if you have any.